Hello, hello, Otto here, and today we are going to be doing something special. This is going to be an unboxing of the original iPhone. It's in this beautiful brown box. I believe that I have scooped this up for an amazing deal on eBay. I think I've definitely gotten it for a discount. So I definitely wouldn't pay more than $1,000. So I'll just leave it at that. I got this thing for less than $1,000, and it's supposedly in mint condition. You know, from the pictures, I did see a couple of specks. A lot of the times, the metal on this would get these little divots in the specs. There's a couple of those, but the pristine, the bezel, and it's in box, which I'm not a big fan of. If you have the box, you could all of a sudden charge this exuberant amount. If the phone is in good condition, then having the box in good condition as well with all the accessories can add. But especially in this original iPhone, where there was so much stuff added to the phone with the box, it wasn't just an empty box like we have nowadays. There was so much with this, so we're gonna unbox this. This is an original iPhone 2G. I think at the time they called it 2G, and it was a device that I really was a little too young to know the hype around it, and during its launch I wasn't really aware of any of that. But over time I did see it, and I've always wanted it, but of course it was way out of my price range. But I think finally now I've gotten it for a good deal, and I hope to store this. So we are going to go ahead and unbox, and I am blurring it out a little bit, so hopefully I don't damage anything inside it. So let's go ahead and unbox it. Again, it's going to be blurred out now because the address. So just give me a sec while I get it out of the box. And so he packaged it really well. Here it is. Did an amazing job of packaging it. And what's funny is this guy has a couple of them, and right when I bought this one for an amazing price, he went ahead and just ramped up the prices of the other ones. So I think he realized, all right, I don't want to be selling them too much of a discount. So here's the box. Again, this is the first time I'm looking at it. Wow, so these were some big, hefty iPhone boxes. I think the iPhone 4 came in a box like this because that was the first iPhone that I had. And let's go ahead and release the top. There it is. There it is in all its glory. Let's go ahead and tilt it. Ooh, it is cold. I'm so used to holding the iPhone 3G here, and this one just feels, plastic of course doesn't get cold, and so it's always a little warm. This one is cold to the touch, and you could see it's in relatively good condition. There's a small little scratch right there, a couple of divots there. Again, the plastic does have a little bit of wear right there, but the screen and the bezel to me is the most important part. Yeah, there's nothing on that screen. That is just a little bit of mark there. I'm curious to see if it powers on again the top. Look at the corners. Crap, I gotta focus. There we go. So that's the phone right there. There's the corners. Again, there's just a little bit of speck right there. Little big divot right there. But I think this is in really acceptable condition given that the battery isn't bulged. This thing was rarely used. And again, I want to scoop these up while I can. Again, if I find another one in great condition for an amazing price, I'm going to pick it up because these are only going to go down in value. Here's the port. There's a little nick right there, but that's fine. The speaker holes are perfect. Let's see if it powers on. Where's the power button? All right, there it is, powering on. Again, I don't want to use this too much. Again, I'm going to try to keep powered off so I don't use the battery a lot. But just to play around with it, this is nice. So let's look at the box. I can lift this piece off right here. This piece should be sticking out like that so you can pull it out. Again, everything is in here, and of course, here's everything else in the box. You have the larger charger, which is in good condition, 10 watt. Here's the dock, which I didn't know had this rubberized, sort of almost feels like felt on the bottom. Is it just me, or is the camera really blurry? Let me go ahead and try to wipe it. I don't know, I just feel like the camera's not as HD as it. I think it's just poor lighting. Let's go ahead and add some lighting to this. There we go. All right, so here's the dock. Again, as I said, felt, which is kind of neat. The headphones are still intact. I believe this is how they came wrapped originally. And the phone, I believe, booted on. There we are. And I'm going to downgrade it to iOS, 1.0. And I believe I can, they said there's a couple where you can't even downgrade them to 1.0, but I believe this is one that you could downgrade to 1.0. Let's go ahead and go to brightness. Let's crank this bad boy up. And there it is. The original iPhone. I wish it had iOS 1.0 already just so I could show you guys. Downgrading these isn't really too hard. You pretty much just put them in DFU mode, holding the power and home button. And then after the Apple logo appears, or before the Apple logo appears, really, you got to keep holding the home button, so for around 10 seconds. And then you connect it to the iTunes version that was out when this came out. I think it's maybe iTunes version 17, or iTunes version 7. I know there's a 7 somewhere in there. And the way I get that older version of iTunes is you gotta have a virtual computer, or if you have a Windows XP lying around, which ironically I do, but I still use a VirtualBox. I use VirtualBox just because it's a lot easier on my computer. And I download iTunes on there. The only thing you got to be careful of is when you connect a device, at least the way VirtualBox works, is you have to manually go in and enable that device so that it disconnects from your host computer and connects it to your virtual. And so every time the phone restarts, as it's doing the restoration process on iTunes, disconnects and connects. And every time you hear it disconnect, you got to quickly wait for it to connect. You're going to hear it on your host PC, and then you're going to have to manually click the iPhone as a device a USB device to connect to the VirtualBox. So you have to be quick with that just so you don't get any errors. But let's see what version of iOS it's running now. Oops. And again, this phone, everything is stock. So this screen is original. Nothing has been replaced with any third-party housing parts. I don't even think you could find third-party replacement housings. I think you could find third-party screens, this plastic piece, everything else you could find. Just this metal housing is very hard to find. I don't know why, because, like for example, this iPod Touch, I replaced the housing on it. This isn't it, but because I did start scooping these up as well. These, I didn't buy them with any boxes. I have 3 of these that are in really good condition. And of course, these are the original iPod Touches. But I did replace the housing on one of the back ones. They're somewhat okay. Obviously they give you that brand new look. But the only thing they really don't get is the text on the bottom. You know what? I'll just show you. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's right here. No. So here's I got 1 there, 2 here, and then here's the text on the bottom. So that's not the same as that. You can see a little different. This one's a little bit more bolder, not as small, and a little bit larger. But it's like, apart from that, it's, if I polish it real quick, let me go ahead and polish it. I'm trying to do this behind the camera. And you can see even after, and this was brand new, and there's still a little bit of scratching, but that's amazing. And look at this one that I got. This one is in really good condition. This is an original one. So these are only going to go up in value. Again, it's, you can almost look at this stuff as like an investment piece, because if you have it in good condition and you aren't using it, the battery hopefully shouldn't expand. Opening these is kind of a hassle to get to the battery, because you got to, when you're opening it, you're inevitably going to scratch up and ding up the bezel, and you're going to end up bending this metal housing, which I did when I was replacing the other one. So it's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, so here is the original iPhone. It feels thinner than the 3G, because the 3G curves, and so it gives you the illusion that it's a little bit thicker. But definitely, to me, this feels a lot better. I cannot wait to downgrade this just to see how naked the OS looks. I didn't check the OS version. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay, 3.1.3, which I think is the latest iOS version you can get on this. Let me go ahead and turn on airplane mode, just so I can disable any save battery, of course. So again, the most iconic feature of the iPhone, I think, which wowed me when I got my first iPod Touch, which was the 3rd gen iPod Touch, was this feature right here. That is amazing. The pinch to zoom. I mean, it was revolutionary at the time. The only thing is it's in its earlier stages, because you can't do the 2-finger swipe. Because normally you would do this and then you could move around as you're zooming in, but here you got to zoom in. Once you're done, 1 finger, zoom in, 1 finger, zoom in, and then you zoom into your subject. But yeah, this is in really good condition. Again, the bezels in really good condition. The back, it's in okay condition. There's one scratch here, one scratch here, one scratch here, one scratch here, one scratch there. But overall, it's nice. So as long as I'm not going to be using it, of course. So it's going to pretty much stay in this condition. That is it. That is the original iPhone in all its glory. Thanks for watching.